This ugly girl made a shocking discovery. She looks exactly like the missing wife of a rich man. At first she thought she was mistaken. Until she showed it to her brother, they had a bold idea. If the ugly girl can pretend to be the rich man's wife and return to her husband, they would be rich beyond their wildest dreams. So Matt immediately bought her a pair of brown contact lenses to cover her original blue eyes, so she would look like the rich man's wife. That night, Betty came to the police station crying that she was the rich man's wife who had been trafficked for 5 years. When the rich Sean heard the news and rushed to see her, he was very excited. He took her home immediately and served her like a slave. Betty thinks she's doing a great job, but the next day Sean's sister realizes there's something wrong with her. Sarah never took sugar in her tea, but Betty insisted on giving it to her. What's more, the rich man's wife, who was always afraid of piercings, now had a hole in her nose. When confronted, Betty rushed to explain that she'd been trafficked and held captive for years, and that her memory was impaired by the pain she'd suffered. As for the piercing, she got it the day before she disappeared. She wanted to surprise Sarah. Sarah thought she was overthinking it. The next day she was about to open a credit card for Betty. Sarah was surprised to find that the left-handed woman was now signing with her right hand. She had to suspect that her sister-in-law was a fake. She immediately told her brother Sean, but Sean said she must have been mistaken. That's ridiculous. But the sister brought in the sheriff to talk to Sean. He said Betty was hiding something when she described the trafficker's face as a movie villain. Sean still says he trusts his wife, that he's been in love with her for years and that he can't be wrong. He then turns around and writes down his sister's and the sheriff's suspicions in a note and sneaks it to his fake wife at home. Betty was horrified. She immediately met with her brother Matt to ask him why he didn't tell her that the rich man's wife was left-handed. She almost blew her cover. Matt explained that he hadn't noticed either. To be on the safe side, Matt applied for a job as the tycoon's chauffeur and entered the tycoon's house. That day, Betty finally stole some confidential documents, but he looked carefully and found that it had no value at all. Matt told her to go back and find the money, but then Sarah came looking for her. Seeing that she was already on the terrace, they hid in a corner. But Sarah was already in front of them. Just as she was about to turn around, Sean suddenly had something to do with his sister and took her away. So they were not discovered. She thought the crisis was over. But when Betty finished her shower, she realized that she had left her contact lenses in the bedroom. Sean was sitting in the bedroom. She clenched her teeth and tried not to make a sound. She finally got the beauty contact lenses. When she turned around, she dropped the box on the floor.